Alright, so I never thought I'd be the guy posting about this kind of thing, but here I am. My name's Mike, and I've been with my wife, Lisa, for about 5 years now. Up until recently, I honestly thought things were pretty solid. We had our ups and downs, sure, but I thought she was faithful, honest, and she genuinely loved me. We were planning our wedding, big family, friends everywhere, the whole 9 yards. It was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. The signs of trouble started creeping in a little before the wedding, but I brushed them off. Lisa had been acting weird, distracted, distant at times, and she'd get defensive when I asked what was wrong. She'd brush it off with a quick, "I'm just stressed," or "It's all the wedding stuff." Honestly, I didn't want to admit it to myself, but I had a gut feeling something wasn't right. Still, I trusted her. I didn't want to ruin what we had over petty suspicions. Then came the night before the wedding. I was just hanging out at her place, helping her finalize some details, when I noticed her phone was on the kitchen counter screen lit up with a message. I didn't think much of it at first, just a generic notification from her sister about the rehearsal dinner. But then I saw it was a message from someone named Jake. I didn't recognize the name, and I thought maybe it was a friend or something. But the conversation caught my eye because it wasn't about the wedding. It was flirty, more than that, actually. Flirty with a lot of innuendos, some personal stuff about how they've been waiting for the right moment and can't wait to see her tomorrow. My stomach sank. I froze. My mind went into overdrive. Who the hell is Jake? Why is she talking like that? But I didn't say anything right then, just put her phone down and went outside to clear my head. I didn't want to ruin the night, not the night before everything was supposed to start. But I knew something was off. I could feel it in my gut, the kind of gut punch that makes your heart race and your mind spin. That night, I stayed up late, watching her, trying to catch anything that might give her away. But she was acting. Normal, maybe a little more anxious than usual, but she was still Lisa. I told myself I was overthinking, that it was just wedding nerves. Still, that feeling didn't go away. I kept replaying that message in my head, wondering how many other lies she's told me, how many times she's been sneaking around behind my back. The wedding day came, and honestly, I was a mess inside. I kept pretending I was fine, trying to put on a brave face in front of everyone. She looked beautiful, of course, but I couldn't help but notice how she kept glancing at her phone when she thought I wasn't looking. She was acting more distant, more bitchy than usual, snapping at little things, brushing off my hand when I reached for her during the ceremony. Something was definitely wrong, and I had no idea how I was going to handle it. Then came the rehearsal dinner that night. Everyone was inside, laughing, drinking, celebrating, and Lisa was acting more aloof than ever. I decided to go check out the barn behind the venue, something I'd seen her eyeing earlier in the day. I just wanted a quiet moment, maybe to clear my head for. A bit, I wandered back there, and that's when I saw her. She was in the shadows with Jake, no doubt about it, behind the barn. They weren't just talking. She was wearing my wedding ring, and she was pressed up against him, kissing him like her life depended on it. I couldn't believe my eyes. My wife, the woman I loved and trusted, was cheating on me on the night before I was supposed to marry her. And she was wearing my ring. That's what really tore me apart. It was like a slap in the face, a sick joke. I froze there watching them kiss, feeling every ounce of betrayal flood through me. I wanted to yell, to run out there and confront her right then and there. But I couldn't move. My mind was a whirlwind, anger, heartbreak, disgust, all fighting for control. How could she betray me like this? How could she lie so easily, cheat behind my back, and then come out in the morning like everything was normal? I didn't sleep that night, not really. Just lay there, staring at the ceiling, trying to process everything. I knew my life was about to change forever. The next morning, I woke up feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. My head was pounding, my stomach was in knots, and my mind kept replaying what I saw behind the barn. I couldn't get that image out of my head, Lisa, my wife-to-be, wearing my ring, kissing another man like she couldn't care less about what we had. It was like a punch to the gut, made worse by the fact that everyone was just hours away from the wedding. How could she do this? How could she be so blatantly disrespectful? I tried to act normal as I got ready. I even put on the smile I thought I needed for the ceremony, but inside I was a mess. Every time I looked at her, I felt this strange mix of anger and heartbreak. I couldn't believe I'd been blind to it all. She had always been a little bitchy, sure, but I never thought she'd cheat on me, especially not before we even said I do. The ceremony started and I went through the motions, my face stiff, trying to hide my turmoil. She looked stunning, but there was this strange glint in her eyes, like she was hiding something. I kept catching her glancing at her phone, and I swear I saw her smirk once when she thought I wasn't looking. My stomach sank even lower. The whole day was a blur, people congratulating us, family crying, friends taking pictures. But I was only half there. My mind kept fixating on what I saw the night before. After the ceremony, everyone moved to the reception, and Lisa's mood seemed to shift between cold and overly sweet. She was trying to keep up appearances, but her eyes kept darting around, and I noticed she was avoiding me. I wasn't going to let her get away with it for much longer. I needed to know what was going on sooner rather than later. As the guests started to mingle and dance, I kept my distance from her, watching her every move. Then I saw her slip away again, and I decided I'd had enough. I followed her. I waited behind some bushes near the barn, heart pounding, until I saw her meet up with someone. Again, it was Jake, no doubt about it. She was laughing at something he said, her hand on his chest, and she was still wearing my ring. That's it. My mind snapped. I couldn't take it anymore. I stepped out of the shadows and I confronted her then and there. "Lisa," I said, voice trembling but loud enough so she couldn't pretend she didn't hear me. She spun around, eyes wide with surprise, then quickly put on that fake smile she always wore when she was lying her ass off. "What are you doing here, Mike? Just enjoying the wedding, right?" She snapped, trying to act innocent, but I knew better. I could see it in her eyes. She knew I'd caught her. My blood boiled. "Come on, Lisa," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I saw you last night behind the barn wearing my ring, kissing Jake like you don't give a damn about me or the marriage." She rolled her eyes, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Oh, please, I was just talking to him. You're being paranoid. You're overthinking everything as usual." She stepped closer, her tone bitchy and defensive. "Maybe you're the one who's been cheating on me all along, huh? Or maybe you're just insecure. I'm tired of your accusations. I don't have time for this drama." Today, that was her way, denying, lying, trying to make it seem like I was the crazy one, but I wasn't buying it, not anymore. I felt every ounce of heartbreak and rage boiling over. I told her, "You're wearing my ring and you're kissing another man behind my back. How much more do you need to lie? How many times do I have to catch you before you admit what you're doing?" She scoffed. "You're crazy, Mike. You've always been jealous, insecure. Maybe this is just your way of punishing me because I don't want to be your little housewife. I have needs. You just don't get that, do you?" That's when I realized I couldn't take her lies anymore. I was done. Done with the cheating, done with the betrayal. I told her I needed to think, that I wasn't going to let her ruin everything I thought we had. She tried to keep her cool, but I saw the flicker of panic in her eyes. She knew she'd been caught. And that's when I decided I wasn't going to let her get away with it. I stormed off, leaving her standing there, smirking like she knew she won. But inside, I felt a storm brewing too. I wasn't going to let her manipulate me or make a fool out of me. This was just the beginning of what was going to be the most bitter, most humiliating revenge I'd ever planned. And she was about to find out that I wasn't the kind of guy who'd sit back and take this kind of betrayal quietly. After confronting Lisa that day, I felt like I'd been hit with a freight train. The wedding was still going on, with everyone obliviously celebrating inside, but I was outside, my mind racing 1,000 miles per hour. I couldn't focus, couldn't breathe properly. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her kissing Jake behind the barn, her damn wedding ring on his finger. That image kept replaying over and over. I knew I had to do something. I couldn't just let her get away with this, not after everything I'd seen. But I also knew I couldn't just storm in and blow everything up right then. So I took a few moments to gather myself, to think about how I was going to handle this. I've never been the most patient guy, but I knew I had to be smart. If I was going to get revenge, it had to be precise, calculated. I decided to start by finding proof. I needed something concrete, not just my gut feeling or a few suspicious glances. So I waited until after the reception, when most of the guests had gone home or were busy dancing. I slipped out of the venue, making my way back to that barn. The place was still quiet, shadowed by the moonlight, and I knew Lisa would be back there. I also knew I had to be cautious. I didn't want her to notice I was lurking around. I hid behind some old hay bales watching the barn door. Sure enough, within a few minutes I saw her sneak out of the main hall, look around, and then head back behind the barn. My heart started pounding again. I followed at a safe distance, keeping to the shadows. I didn't want her to know I was onto her, not yet. The barn door was slightly ajar and I could hear muffled voices. My stomach clenched. I pressed my back against the wall and peeked inside. Lisa was inside talking to Jake, no doubt about it, but this time there was something different. They were not just kissing or whispering sweet nothings. They were in the middle of sex. I could hear her breathy moans, her voice trembling as she pressed herself against him. My blood ran ice cold. I watched her for a moment, realizing I had everything I needed. This wasn't just a flirt or a sneaky kiss. It was outright betrayal, confirmed with my own eyes. My mind was a jumble of rage, sadness, and disbelief. How fucking stupid had I been? How blind to everything? I had to act fast. I knew I couldn't just go in and confront her then and there. Not without evidence. So I backed away quietly, slipped out of the shadows, and headed home. I'd spend the night gathering my thoughts, maybe even collecting some proof that I could use later. But one thing was clear. Lisa had been lying to me from the start, and now I knew exactly how deep her betrayal went. That night, I didn't sleep. I just sat there in the dark, replaying everything I'd seen, feeling the weight of it all crush me. My wife, my supposed soulmate, was screwing around with my best friend behind my back. All those years I trusted her. I thought she loved me, but she was just using me as a backup, a fool to keep around until she found someone better. That realization hurt worse than I thought possible. By morning, I was exhausted and furious. I knew I had to make a decision, how I was going to handle this mess. I couldn't stay married to someone so fundamentally dishonest. But part of me still hesitated, still hoped there might be some way to fix it. Deep down, I knew I had to face the reality. My marriage was over, and what I was about to do next would change everything forever. The morning after everything I saw last night, I knew I couldn't keep this bottled up. I couldn't pretend it was a bad dream or that I was overthinking it. No, what I saw was real, and it was the kind of betrayal that shatters trust forever. I had to confront Lisa, but I wanted to do it on my terms, calm, calculated, with proof in hand. I needed her to own up to what she'd done, not just lie her way out of it again. I stayed up most of the night, gathering my thoughts and planning my next move. I knew I had to be clever. I didn't want her running her mouth, denying everything, or turning the tables on me. I needed something irrefutable, something I could use as leverage. So I checked her phone, her emails, and even her social media. She was stupid enough to leave a trail. I found texts, photos, even some explicit messages from Jake, all timestamped just hours before the wedding. She was planning this, or at least going along with it, for a while. I printed everything out, saved it on a separate device, and made sure I had absolutely concrete evidence of her betrayal. When I looked at those messages, I felt a sick mixture of rage and heartbreak. How could she be so manipulative? She'd lied to me every step of the way, smiling in my face while she was secretly screwing around. I couldn't believe I'd been so blind. I wondered how many other lies she'd told, how long she'd been cheating behind my back. By mid-morning, I felt ready. I grabbed the evidence, kept it hidden in my pocket, and headed straight for her. I found her in the bridal suite, fuming, bitchy, pretending to be all innocent. I walked right up to her and she looked at me like I was an inconvenience, a bother she didn't want to deal with. "Lisa," I said, my voice steady but cold as ice, "I know what you did. I've got the messages, the proof. You can deny it all you want, but I saw everything last night. Your little meeting behind the barn, the sex with Jake, wearing my ring like it means nothing. How long has this been going on?" Her face paled for a second, then her usual bitchy mask slid back into place. "Oh, come on, Mike. You're crazy. You're just overreacting. Maybe you're imagining things. I didn't do anything. You're just jealous because I'm finally happy and you're too insecure to see that." I shook my head, frustration boiling over. "Don't lie to me. I've got the messages, the photos. You've been lying about everything. How long have you been cheating? Or do you want to keep pretending your little affair is just a one-time thing?" She scoffed. "You're such a drama queen. I swear you're always accusing me of stuff. Maybe you're the one who's been screwing around. Maybe I should be asking you that question." That's when I lost it. I told her she could keep her lies, her manipulations, but I wasn't going to be played anymore. I told her I was done, that I never wanted to see her again, and I was going to take everything from her, her dignity, her marriage, whatever she valued. She started crying, trying to act innocent, but her tears didn't work on me anymore. I'd heard enough. I turned around and left her standing there, mouth open, unable to say anything. The aftermath was brutal. I felt like my world was crashing down. I wanted to scream, cry, break things. I did all of it. I couldn't believe I'd trusted her for so long, only to find out she'd been lying and cheating behind my back. It was a punch in the gut, a betrayal so deep I thought I'd never recover. But I knew one thing: I couldn't stay with her. Not after this. I started making plans to get out, to protect myself from her manipulative games. I knew I had to be careful. Lisa was the kind of person who could turn everything around and make me the bad guy if I wasn't cautious. So I hired a lawyer, started collecting more evidence, and thought about how to handle the fallout. I wasn't just going to walk away empty-handed. I had to make sure I was protected. Because a woman who could cheat on her wedding day, wearing my ring, behind the barn, she was not someone I wanted to be involved with anymore. The days that followed were a blur of planning, anger, and a deep sense of betrayal that I couldn't shake. I kept replaying the scenes: her kiss with Jake, the way she looked at him behind the barn like she was already gone. Every time I closed my eyes, it was like a punch to the gut. I knew I had to act fast, not just for my own sanity, but to set the groundwork for what was coming next. I spent hours on the phone with a lawyer, giving her everything I had: screenshots, messages, photographs. I wanted to make sure I had everything documented, just in case Lisa decided to spin some story or try to gaslight me into thinking I was crazy. Honestly, part of me wanted to confront her publicly or even just go scorched earth right away, but I knew better. Revenge needed to be calculated. Impulses could ruin everything. I had to be smart. While I was doing that, Lisa kept trying to call me, text me, even show up at my place. She was bitchy, angry, and still trying to spin her lies. She'd send me messages like, "You're crazy, Mike. I don't know what you're talking about." Or, "You're just jealous because I don't want to be with a guy who's insecure and paranoid." It made me sick to see her act like the victim when I knew the truth. I didn't reply to her or engage. I couldn't give her that satisfaction. Then came the moment I'd been waiting for, my chance to confront her directly, but on my terms. I scheduled a meeting at her place. I told her I had something to show her, something I'd been meaning to discuss. She was suspicious, of course, trying to act innocent as she opened the door. I walked straight in, holding my phone with all the evidence. "Splay. Lisa," I started, "I've got everything. The messages, the photos. You thought you could lie your way out of this, but I know the truth now. You cheated on me during our wedding rehearsal dinner behind the barn while everyone inside was celebrating." Her face twisted into a mixture of anger and panic. "Mike, you're out of your mind. You're seeing things. You're paranoid. I don't know what kind of game you're playing, but I swear I've done nothing wrong." I cut her off. "Stop lying. I saw you wearing my ring, kissing Jake like you don't care about me, and you think you can just deny it. You're pathetic, Lisa. I trusted you and you threw it all away for some stupid fling with Jake." She shrieked, "You're crazy. You're just jealous because I don't want to be your stupid little wife anymore. Maybe I was bored of this boring life and Jake makes me feel alive. Maybe you should take a look at yourself and realize you're the one who ruined everything." I was livid. I told her I wasn't interested in her excuses. I was done. Done with her manipulations, her lies, her game playing. I wanted her to know that I'd had enough. I told her I'd be taking everything I could: our house, the savings, whatever I could get legally. She yelled and cursed and tried to punch me, but I stepped back, not wanting to escalate things further. I knew I had her cornered. That day, I called my lawyer again, gave her the evidence, and started the process of separation. I knew it was going to be messy. I wasn't naive enough to think she'd just roll over and accept it. Lisa was the kind of person who would fight tooth and nail, make my life hell if she could. But I didn't care. I was done being the victim. I was done being played for a fool. Looking back now, I realized this was the turning point. I finally saw her for what she really was: A manipulative, selfish woman who thought she could get away with anything. I won't lie. At first, I felt crushed, humiliated, like I'd lost everything that mattered. But as the days went on, I started to feel a strange sense of relief. I was finally free from her lies, her bullshit. I'd take back control of my life. I never expected it to hurt this much. The betrayal ran deep, and honestly, I still don't know if I'll ever fully recover. But I do know one thing. I'll never trust her again, and I'll never let anyone hurt me like that again. In the end, I managed to get out of that mess with my dignity intact, but I won't pretend it was easy. The betrayal cut so deep I felt like I was bleeding inside for weeks. Every night I would lie awake, trying to understand how someone I loved could do something so cruel. She was supposed to be my future, my partner, the person I trusted with everything. Instead, she turned out to be someone I barely recognized, selfish, manipulative, willing to throw away everything for a quick thrill. Looking back now, I realize how blind I was for a long time. I wish I had seen the signs earlier, but at the same time, I guess nobody ever really expects the person they're supposed to spend their life with to betray them so completely. It's a lesson I'll carry with me forever. Trust is fragile, and it can be shattered. In an instant, the aftermath has been a roller coaster. I lost a lot. My wedding plans, the life I thought I was building, a sense of security, but I also gained clarity. I see things differently now. I learned that the best revenge isn't some elaborate scheme. It's simply walking away, holding your head high, and knowing you're better off without people who betray you. I've started picking up the pieces, rebuilding my life, and honestly, it feels better than I expected. If there's one thing I want to say to anyone who's going through something similar, it's this. Don't settle for lies or betrayal. It hurts, yeah, but it's better to face the pain and move forward than to stay in something that's been broken for a long time. Trust your gut, stand up for yourself, and don't be afraid to walk away. You'll come out stronger on the other side, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I do know one thing. I'm done with her lies and I'm finally free. That's the real victory.